We're here in Baltimore City at the APTA Rail Conference, the American Public Transportation Association's annual rail conference. Baltimore's a great city to do a rail conference in. They did it here 9 years ago, but there's so much happening here. We talked to Josh Wolf from MARC Train. He talks about all the brand new projects they've got going on with commuter rail and how the weekend service is really booming like it is in other cities. The Purple Line, of course, is a big project. It's a 16-mile light rail line connection around the Washington, D.C. suburbs. In the Maryland side, it's 90% complete. On this episode of Transit Unplugged, we talked to the director of that service as well, Ray Biggs, and he explains to us what's going on with that project, plus a bunch of other conference attendees and leaders. We take you at nighttime to show you some of the receptions that are happening. And of course, the ball game. You know, we were here last night at the ball game and we saw thousands of people getting off of light rail. Light rail is a big thing here in Baltimore City, taking people to the Ravens game, their big football team, and of course the Baltimore Orioles, who are the hometown heroes. Can big, expensive rail projects still go forward? Everybody's focused on bus rapid transit. That's the big kind of hot trend right now, but rail is still really alive. There's a lot of big projects happening across America, and this rail conference is a place where we take you inside. We also got to hear from federal leaders to see what the new safety rules are coming out of Washington. They're very concerned about roadway safety and railway safety for the workers there. We hear all about that at this conference. We take you inside on this episode of Transit Unplugged podcast, the APTA Rail Conference in Baltimore. I'm Paul Comfort. Dive in with me right now. First up, we hear from the CEO of APTA, Paul Keolis. All right, we're in the main hallway, Paul, of your big conference, the APTA Rail Conference here in Baltimore. How's it going?
Paul, it's going great. Paul to Paul.
There you go.
You know, there's a great vibe here. We have over 1,700 attendees here in Baltimore. Lots to see, great technical tours by the agency, and people are just in a really good mood. You know, there's really a passenger rail renaissance going on in America with all the investments along the coast and in between, in North America, Canada as well. So it's a good time. We have our challenges, of course, continue to improve services. That's always at the top of the list, and making sure that we've got good funding sources ahead of us. But a good vibe, and great to see all of our colleagues here.
Yeah, it is great. There's been so much talk, Paul, about BRT, bus rapid transit. But rail is still growing. I mean, 5% increase in tracks in the last couple of years. I mean, it's still very important.
Look, you know, we're mode agnostic. BRT has its place and is expanding throughout the country, but rail also has its place, and we're seeing, just take the Northeast Corridor, for example, New York and New Jersey, the Amtrak investments, they're really significant. And the same thing's happening on the West Coast as well, from Seattle to LA and so forth. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing an explosion of investment. We want to maintain that. That's our challenge.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. Last question, tell us about where you see the future of rail in the next 1 to 3 years. What's going to happen?
Look, I think it's very, very bright. There's so much in the pipeline in terms of investments will be coming online. Again, all of the modes from commuter to light rail, heavy rail expansions and the like modernization of stations, that will continue. And you know, we see it a really bright opportunity for our members, our business members, and certainly our agencies who will be leading the way.
Well, thank you for all you do, Paul. You're an amazing leader of our industry.
Thank you, Paul. Great to be with you always.
One of the big projects being showcased here in Baltimore at the rail conference is the Purple Line. That's the 16.2-mile light rail line around the Washington, D.C. suburbs that connects into Washington Metro. We talked to Ray Biggs, who is the project director for Maryland MTA, who gives us a status update. Ray, man, good to see you here at the APTA Rail Conference.
Good to see you too, Paul, again.
Yeah, the last time we talked to you for Transit Unplugged TV, we were at one of your facilities. Where were we at?
We were at the Glenridge Operations and Maintenance Facility on Veteran Parkway over in Prince George's County.
That's great. Tell us about, for those who aren't familiar, we're here in Baltimore City, and the Baltimore MTA is overseeing the construction of the Purple Line, a 16.2-mile light rail line between Bethesda and Silver Spring.
Bethesda and New Carrollton.
I wanted to catch you on that. All right, so tell us a little more about it and what's the current status?
So we are currently at over 90% complete with the project. We've put all the rail in. We have all our overhead catenary system poles in, and we began live wire testing both New Carrollton through University of Maryland campus. And just 2 weeks ago, we jumped over to Bethesda and began the live wire testing in Bethesda. So that was very exciting to now be in both Montgomery County and Prince George's County with the testing.
Tell us about the vehicles, because I think they're pretty cool. Last time you showed them to me.
Yes, so they are 142 feet long. You can see from end to end when you're inside. Very modern, purple, as you can imagine. And they're just a sight to behold. We have 28 of them in total for the entire alignment.
And are they all in?
Yes, they're all in, and they're going through the testing. We're sort of ahead of the curve with the testing of the light rail vehicles.
Yeah. Now, to me, the Purple Line is probably the biggest light rail project coming to completion in America. Am I right? Do you know that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
I will say it is the largest P3 project, and in the region, yes,
Yeah.
it is the largest project at $5 billion for the design and construction. We are looking forward to opening this, to connecting, as you mentioned, from Bethesda to New Carrollton.
And so it's interesting. I remember when I was at MTA, when we first started this thing 10 years ago, whatever. No, it started way before that, but actually awarded the contract. It surprised me that the Maryland transit system was putting together something that will connect them with WMATA.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit and how that will all work for people in the Washington metro region, like Marylanders who want to get to work over there and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So for people that are in the DC area or the DMV area, you're familiar with the WMATA system. And currently right now, to go from Bethesda to New Carrollton, you have to take the red line.
Okay.
You have to take it to go in and then go back out.
Switch lines, right?
Switch lines and to go back out. And what the Purple Line will do, which is completely in Maryland, which is why the Maryland Transit Administration is doing, will connect Bethesda, Silver Spring, College Park, and New Carrollton together, almost forming a fourth of a circle around that spoke of the WMATA system.
Yeah.
It will tie into the system. You will be able to use your Smart Trip card. You'll be able to use the Charm card that we have up here in Baltimore, and of course cash, and all the various different methods you can think of to be able to transfer from one mode to the next.
That's great. And timeline, what are we thinking?
We are thinking end of 2027, we are pushing for that, but as you know, the testing can be very complex, especially with the light rail system in an area that's not familiar with light rail. And we go across over 50 different intersections, a very urban area. So we have a lot of things you have to look for safety certification, ensuring the system is safe before we can open up.
Now you mentioned it's P3, which is great. It was the largest P3 in America, I think, for a long time, maybe still is. So how will it work? So one company builds it. For those who aren't familiar with how it works, then do you all operate or another company comes in, you're under consortium? Explain all that.
Yes, so the Maryland Transit Administration, we are the owners.
Okay.
So we have a contract with our concessionaire, Purple Line Transit Partners, which is a partnership between Star Alliance and Meridian. They have a contract with our design builder, that's Maryland Transit Solutions, that's made up of Flatiron Dragados and OHLA. And then once they finish building, we're actually in that transition period now where they're learning from each other. Purple Line transit operators will operate the system on behalf of MTA while we oversee them for 30 years.
A 30-year contract.
Yes.
That's something, yeah. What's your role in the whole project from MTA?
So I'm the senior project director for MTA, overseeing the Purple Line, and I guess you can just say I'm at the top of the pole.
Yes.
But everyone else is pouring up to me and making sure that we deliver this important infrastructure project for the state of Maryland.
So you're thinking it'll take over a year to get ready to actually roll on for passengers? Is that the idea?
Yes,
Okay.
over a year, and really focusing on that safety and certification and making sure the systems are working together across that entire 16-mile corridor.
Well, I got to tell you, it's very exciting to see it all finally come to completion. Very happy for you. Happy that APTA is focusing on Baltimore and the Purple Line here is one of the premier rail projects in the nation. Wish you the very best as you wrap things up and get it into service.
All right, appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Michael Powell is a good friend of mine. He heads up Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority, the transportation side of it. I talked to him and his co-worker, Michael, as well, to talk about what's happened with rail up in Niagara and the Buffalo, New York area. All right, with my pals from Niagara Frontier Transit, Mike Powell, speaking of pals. And Mike, you run the rail operation, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we're at the rail conference. What are you learning here?
Learning about the different options out there for rail car procurement, digital signage, technology. Excited about our expansion, so gathering information, pertaining to the expansion.
And Mike, you kind of oversee all the transportation operations up there in Niagara. What's the hot thing happening right now?
Well, we're getting ready for our expansion. So hearing about the funding opportunities, the FTA cooperation, the partnerships, it's really beneficial to be here and have access and talk to our federal partners about options for the future. We have that 7-mile extension coming, hopefully. We're approaching 30% designed right now. So exciting times to be here and make those connections.
Yeah. What's your current operations like? What do you operate there in Niagara?
We have 6.4 miles of rail with 27 rail cars. We run right now 3-car consists on a 15 to 20 minute headway depending on the single tracking, and we run pretty consistent without any hiccups.
How's your ridership been doing?
It's been up recently. A lot of that has to do with the Sabres doing well in the playoffs.
Go Sabres!
But it's good. We've been consistent, and I think overall pretty good service.
That's good. Last question, Mike.
Sure.
Tell us about the expansion. What are you all going to be doing? Where's it going to go and that kind of stuff?
It's going to be, we'll pretty much more than double in size, about 7 miles. It'll be above ground. Right now we have 6 of our stations above ground and 8 underground. So it'll be coming back up, serve mostly the neighborhoods between South Campus, University of Buffalo, and the Northern Campus, cities of Amherst and in between. It'll bring a lot of opportunities for people to commute and have access in a way that they haven't had before, and also reverse commute, because there's a lot of companies out we'll be heading north as well as coming into downtown South. We're working on a bridge also, which will go right into KeyBank Stadium, so people could park at the park and rides. We call it the coatless ride. Ride in on the train, even in Buffalo winters, get off at our brand new DL&W rehab station, and walk through a tunnel right into the stadium. So no coat necessary. Park and ride, have a great time, enjoy the game responsibly. We're so excited that's coming in the spring of next year. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks both guys. Appreciate being Secretary Chairman of the Learning at the conference.
Thank you, Paul.
Josh Wolf is head of MARC Train, the commuter rail service here in Maryland and Baltimore that serves into the Washington, D.C. area. We go outside to the Camden rail station near Camden Yards where the Baltimore Orioles play to talk about that service. And we take a look inside the newer or newish Camden rail station. All right, I'm with Josh Wolf, who is the director of MARC. We're here in Baltimore, Josh, at the APTA Rail Conference. You spoke here yesterday. In a minute, I'm going to ask you what you talked about, but you oversee an important rail connection point here in Maryland, the Maryland, what's that stand for? What's MARC Train stand for?
Yes, the Maryland Area Regional Commuter Train.
Gotcha. And what does it do? Tell us about how it operates.
Yep, so we operate 3 lines. The Penn line operates all the way from Perryville, Maryland, down to Washington, D.C. The Camden line, right where we are, from Camden Station, down to Washington, D.C. And our Brunswick line from Brunswick, Maryland, Frederick, and also Martinsburg, West Virginia, all the way down to Washington, D.C.
Wow, West Virginia. You're in a different state, huh?
Yes. We operate in 3 different states or territories.
That's great. And is it contracted out?
Yep, we are contracted out. Our Penn line's operated by Amtrak, and our Camden and Brunswick lines are operated by Alstom, and they maintain our trains as well.
That's great. We're here at the Camden Yard Station. Kind of cool. You have a light rail connection here as well as the commuter trains. Tell us about this new Camden station we're standing in. It's not new anymore, I guess, but
not
newer.
Quite so newer. Yeah, this is our newer station, replacing an old kind of just trailer waiting room with a brand new station that really matches the aesthetics of our landmark ballpark here, Camden Yards. Oriole Park is, one of the best, if not the best, stadium in the U.S. So glad to have this beautiful station right here outside of the ballpark.
And tell us about the big projects. You were telling me beforehand you got some really cool things happening.
Yes, we have some really big projects. So we're working on something called the Penn-Camden Connector, which would connect our Penn and Camden lines, allowing us to bring revenue trains right up here into Camden Station, as well as avoiding unnecessary deadhead miles into our maintenance facility. We're working with Amtrak on the new Frederick Douglass Tunnel, which is replacing the Baltimore and Potomac Tunnel, which opened before the Civil War.
Wow.
And we're also working with Amtrak on the new Susquehanna River Bridge, which gets us up into Cecil County as well.
That's good. And you're doing something with MBTA. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, so with MBTA, we are procuring new battery electric locomotives to allow us to run on the Penn line after the tunnel opens. When the ventilation changes and does not allow diesel to travel through the tunnel.
So you got to get new, engines?
Yep, so we're going to get new engines that operate overhead catenary as well as batteries. So if we want to run them in and out of maintenance yards that don't have catenary, we'll be able to do that as well. Also more reliability and more speed.
Josh, you've been known here at MTA in the decade you've been here now of being a real project-oriented guy that can get stuff going and still continue to run service. You talked about that yesterday here at the conference, right?
Yep. Yesterday I talked about breaking large projects, large initiatives into smaller pieces and making sure that you can find quick wins while you're advancing those long-term strategies. Making sure that people can see the investment and see the return and not just wait 20 years for a new tunnel or 30 years for a new bridge.
That's interesting. Yeah, Andy Byford spoke here, train daddy from New York. Now he's rebuilding Penn Station in New York. He talked about that yesterday, that you have to have quick wins. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in this age of kind of instant gratification, people can't wait 20 years to see the return on their investment. They want to see their tax dollars. They want to see their fare go into a project. They want to see new service. They want to see special events. They want to see amenities.
Yeah. So are there a couple ones you've done that with here at MARC?
Yep, so we're working with Amtrak as part of our funding agreements for those big projects, getting some additional express service. Weekend service to Perryville's on the way in the next year or so. We're also working with CSX on a new service pattern running from Brunswick all the way to Baltimore, skipping Washington Union Station, which we never would have thought to do before the pandemic. But the new travel patterns and all of the new employers in Baltimore and Montgomery County allow us to do that and pilot that new service.
Are you all seeing MARC Train ridership on weekends peak like it is in other agencies, kind of doing even better than pre-pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. We had our highest weekend this past March for cherry blossoms.
Oh, yeah.
It's always our biggest weekend, but it was a record-breaking weekend. And just generally, our weekend service, it's higher than it was pre-pandemic, and as a percentage of capacity, higher than our weekday.
That's good. Anything else you want to share about the system?
Excited for everyone to come out today and while they're at APTA and try and ride our service.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you too. What do you think of the rail conference? Because it was here like 9 years ago. I remember you were here.
Yep.
And I had just left the agency. It's great to have them come back, huh? With like 1,200 people here.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting to have them back with all that MTA is doing, not just at MARC, with our new Metro rail cars, working on light rail modernization, which I'm sure there are some presentations on, as well as all the things that we're doing at MARC. Excited to showcase the work we're doing at Rail in Baltimore.
Well, why don't you show me inside this place? I don't think I've seen it yet, Josh.
Sure, come take a look.
All right. This is the Camden station. If you're going to ride the train system here, this is what you're going to see when you come in. All right, so tell us about it in here.
Yep, so you'll notice the murals from historic Baltimore to kind of throw back to the warehouse.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to notice all of the brick and metal work match Camden Yards in the warehouse right across from us.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Look at this brickwork here. Yeah, and then you go right up there, and there's the station. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and you'll see all of our chairs with modern charging.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, right underneath here, right? Yes.
And then you'll also see our MARC ticket vending machine.
Okay.
Which is a very unique ticket vending machine for the industry, manufactured specifically for MARC and not by a typical fare collection contractor.
Okay. This is nice. And you know what else is great? It's air conditioned.
Yes.
And there's the line. So tell us about these lines one more time.
Yep, sure. So we've got our Brunswick line from Martinsburg, West Virginia, all the way down to Union Station with our Frederick branch, up to Frederick, Maryland. Camden Station, right from Camden,
That's
New
where
York.
we're at right
That's
now.
where we are today, right now, all the way down to Washington Union Station.
All right.
And then our Penn line all the way from Perryville, stopping at Penn Station, and then all the way down to Washington.
Okay. Yeah. And what's it cost like to ride? Is it based on distance? Or?
It is based on distance, runs anywhere from about, at most, all the way at the end, about $15 to as cheap as about $5.
And can you still get like the weekly and monthly passes?
Yeah,
to make it
weekly and
cheaper?
monthly passes and mobile ticketing on the Charm Pass app.
That's great. Anything else in here we should see? This is basically it, right?
Yeah, some restrooms.
Some restrooms, yeah. Yeah, I love these.
The murals are great of old historic Baltimore.
Yeah. Take a look at this light rail system here in Baltimore. A lot of people ride light rail to the Baltimore Orioles games, to the Ravens games, who maybe normally don't try transit, but man, they are crush loads coming to the games. Here at the light rail station, people are getting off going to the Orioles game. It's a big event for light rail every home game. Look at all the fans coming off. And they just walk right over there, and there's the stadium, right there. So, light rail in action.
Thanks for listening to the Transit Unplugged podcast. We are so glad you're here. If you're enjoying this show, we know you'll love our other transit industry programs. On Transit Unplugged TV, Paul Comfort explores the food, culture, and transit systems around the globe. You get to see everything. You'll love this show. And every week, we also offer up the Transit Unplugged News Minute, where you can get the latest industry headlines in less than 60 seconds. You can find out more at transitunplugged.com. Now back to Paul Comfort for this edition of the award-winning Transit Unplugged podcast.
Next up, we talk to my friend Roger Morton, who's been a guest on Transit Unplugged numerous times. He's here at the Rail Conference and talks about America's only driverless metro system. They've just expanded it by 5 miles. He brings us an update from Honolulu. Roger, great to see you at the APTA Rail.
Yeah, good to see you here.
We were just talking about when we were there, I don't know how many years ago now, but we filmed an episode of Transit Unplugged TV with you, and we were looking, you took us out to see the new elevated rail program. In addition to you running the Honolulu transit system, you're also a big wig and making that happen, right?
Yeah.
What's the latest on all that? There's been a lot of news about it.
Well, we just opened our segment 2. That added another 5 miles and 4 stations. That makes our system 15 miles long.
Wow.
And we're really proud of it. When I left, we were running 99.6% service availability.
Wow,
that's
great.
a level that's just unheard of, around the country. And really, that's a level that's up there with the best of the global metros, really.
Yeah, and it's where does it go from and to?
Well, right now we start in East Kapolei, that's out in the suburbs of Honolulu. We go past Aloha Stadium, we go into the airport, we terminate right now at Middle Street.
Okay.
But as we speak, you're seeing columns that are sprouting up that are taking our system to downtown, and that's the current one. But even while we're building to downtown, we're beginning to talk a little bit about where we should go next, right?
Okay.
Should we take our system a little bit further west? There's a regional mall just one station away, and all of us agree that we got to get to that mall. And then going the other way, well, we got a lot of options. We're committed to getting to Ala Moana Center. That's the largest open air mall in the world. And then after we get to Ala Moana, the question is, well, how do we get out of Ala Moana? How do we get into Waikiki? How do we get to our University of Hawaii? So those are things that, over the next decade, really, that'll really become to fruition. But we're starting to do the planning now, Paul.
So your system is like no drivers, is that right?
We're the only system with not only no drivers, but no employee at the front of the train.
Wow.
Now, on half the trains we operate, we do have an employee not on the front of the train, but in the train, acting as an ambassador, making sure that everything is right. And for the other half of the train, they're totally unattended. But our stations are largely automated as well, but we do have a station attendant at every station. Now, when I say station attendant, they're on the platform. They're not down in the ticket area.
Right.
The ticket area is all automated, but they're on the platform, and as every train goes by, that station attendant is expected to put the head into the train, take a quick look around, make sure everything is running right, because, like I say, half the trains don't have any employee on them.
That's amazing, man. And what's ridership like?
Ridership has expanded a lot since we opened up our second segment. Just before I came, we had our record day, which was about 14,000 riders. But again, our system is still waiting to get to downtown, to get to our key ridership areas. So when we get to downtown, I fully project that we're going to have 75,000 riders a day easy.
Wow, that's something. And Lori, right? She runs. What's the name of the actual program?
The actual name of the program is the Honolulu High Capacity Rail System.
Yes.
But our system is called Skyline. The way we operate in Honolulu is I am the CEO. I operate the system. However, we have a sister agency that constructs the system.
Right.
And that's headed by Lori Kahakina.
Okay.
And she's a powerhouse lady. She's out there every day in the morning talking to her team, making sure that things are going right. And they don't always go right, in construction. And when they don't go right, she's out there looking for a solution. She is the leader, no question, about building and expanding the system.
Anything else? Any other updates you want to give on it?
Well, the other thing is when we got our second segment open, we implemented 3 BRT light type systems. So we have direct service to the University of Hawaii, we have direct service to Waikiki, and direct service to downtown, and those lines have been fantastic. The Waikiki line, we run it every 10 minutes. We've found out that during the peak airline hours, we got to increase our service because
Yeah.
we're just too filled up.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. And your transit system that you run day to day, everything going good?
yeah. I mean, you say in transit, everything going good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never a day when there's not a crisis.
Yeah.
But overall, I think that the team that we have is it's a seasoned team.
Yeah.
It's used to having adversity. It's used to having crises, and that's what they're all for. Is there to find out the solution right now.
Yeah.
For what's going wrong.
John Nucci, is he still with your team?
He is. John is taking a new role in Honolulu. He's become my director of transit.
Okay.
So John has all the transit systems. I have another deputy, a guy named Hong Lee, who's a very skilled civil engineer. He does most of my traffic side of things. And so we talk each other that we have a three-legged stool in management, John, myself,
That's
and
good.
Hong.
John was just amazing, being a local, and he really educated me on the local culture, all that stuff.
Introduced you to Zippy.
Yeah, we went to Zippy's, man. If you haven't watched that TV show, go find it on YouTube, Transit Unplugged from Honolulu. But just a wonderful spirit and a heart, too,
Yeah, well, John is definitely a Renaissance man, particularly he's a Hawaiian Renaissance man. He's fluent in Hawaiian. Very few people in Hawaii are. He took it, John's a Chinese, Japanese background. That's his background. But really, in his heart, he's Hawaiian.
Yeah, that's something. Well, Roger, great seeing you, man. It was fun listening to Andy Byford, too, wasn't it?
Oh, that was
Talk
great.
about
the lessons learned and just the tremendous experience he's had as a global transit manager.
Yeah, he's like our guy, our top industry dude.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, well, thanks again, buddy. We'll see you around.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Neil Shah is Executive Vice President for Keolis, one of the big international companies that operates rail programs. He brings us an update about the contract they just signed with California High-Speed Rail. Neil, it's great to see you here at the APTA Rail Conference. Keolis is a big player in rail. I mean, you guys just won a big contract with California High-Speed Rail last week, I heard.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. A week ago, Monday, we signed the contracts with our co-development partners. It's to be a co-development consortium to develop the future of California high-speed rail. The aim is to have a long-term operations and maintenance contract from the Central Valley through to connecting the population centers of California in the north and the south. So we're very excited to work with our partners Plenary Americas, La Caisse, and then Jacobs and Senair and Steer. And we're forming part of the OMJV with SNCF Voyageur, and SNCF is our majority shareholder, so it's quite a nice tie-up of family members.
Yeah, that's good. So California High-Speed Rail has been all the rage, and it's gotten negative press. And what's going on generally? I mean, what does that mean, co-develop? Talk to me a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different model. It's something Canada has looked at for their high-speed rail project Alto. And what it aims to do is team up with the private sector to say, look, we have this project. What are some of the ways we could launch and accelerate the project? So it's been around for many years. We all know that. But now they've decided, let's look at it in a different way. It's a business with rail as its core. What are some of the opportunities around that core? Asset commercialization opportunities to generate revenue, which will just shore up the business plan. And Keolis is more of a transport provider, so our focus is on the rail development along the corridors. So it's really working hand in hand with the client, like a consultant at the beginning, but applying our operations and maintenance expertise. And of course, SNCF Group is one of the premier high-speed rail operators in the world, so they're going to bring that expertise. And then we're experts at multimodal transit, and obviously are already operating in the United States. So we bring some of the local, with the global context as well.
Brad and Justin and the whole team up there in Boston. Yeah, that's good. So tell us about Keolis. I love Keolis, man. You guys are amazing. I love that visualization room. I had Laurence Bracetta on the show with Brad in Boston a few months ago. Tell us about the company and what you're doing around the world with rail.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, look, it's an exciting company. You know, at the core, we're a multimodal service provider. We provide public transport services for PTAs around the world. We have about 70,000 employees in 14 different countries. And you know, we've just added a country recently, Ireland. We won the Dublin Light Rail.
Oh, wow.
And in rail, we're one of the premier light rail operators around the world in terms of number of contracts. It's a core expertise in rail of ours, as well as automated metro around the world. So it's all the modes of rail, from surface transportation light rail to automated metros to commuter regional rail, all the way up now to high-speed rail. The last one we for sure team up with SNCF because of the expertise they have in Europe with high-speed rail specifically, because Europe is opening up and SNCF is looking for other market opportunities, which is why they came with us on the Canada high-speed rail and now the California high-speed rail.
So here in America, the big push has been bus rapid transit for the last year.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do BRT. What do you see as the future of rail, and why is rail so important?
Yeah, I think, it's a good question. I mean, I grew up in the rail industry, operations and maintenance. I think rail really wants to connect population centers. I think it's a cleaner form of transportation, usually electrified. They're looking at hydrogen, battery operated. So there are various ways to reduce the carbon footprint. Rail can travel longer distances. It's nice to see the geography go by. I think it's a lot less stressful than air travel.
100%.
You get city center to city center.
Right.
So I think those are really the key reasons why, to be excited about rail. And as you say, there are a lot of jurisdictions looking to introduce forms of transportation like light rail.
Yeah.
You can integrate it to the urban environment. You see in Europe, it's really part of the fabric of the town center.
Yes.
It's not just, and people get used to it. So I think there's a lot of pluses to having a light rail system in the middle of your city.
Yeah.
And I think you look at the generation coming through, not as many of them drive anymore. They actually want to use public transportation.
Yes.
So let's give them those options. Let's give people options. The classic build it and they shall come, I think is very, very true. One of our projects in Canada, the Waterloo Light Rail, we put it in there. We've been running it for 6 or 7 years now. And the change in the region of Waterloo and their downtown corridor, the buildings, population has come back. It serves a university as well, so the students love it. And actually Hamilton in Ontario is looking at Waterloo as a model of how they can revitalize
Hamilton Street Railway?
Exactly, they can revitalize their downtown corridor. So there are examples out there of revitalization, getting people back into the city center, and increases the tax base,
Right,
of course.
TOD is big around rail.
Absolutely.
Man, I was in Tucson.
Yeah.
We filmed there, and they showed us it was billions of dollars of TOD around their light rail lines.
Absolutely.
You don't necessarily get that with bus.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of rail. That you get some with BRT, but clearly rail's the winner there for transit-oriented development.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that it's the future. I think there's a lot of push to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the population of the city would be grateful for just the option.
Yeah.
Because who wants to be stuck in traffic?
So when I was here as CEO of MTA, we were studying high-speed rail.
Right.
A high-speed rail line between Baltimore and Washington.
Right.
There'd be a 30-minute trip. We were looking at Japanese maglev technology.
Right.
It's almost 10 years later since I've left.
Right.
They're still studying it. So here's one thing I have to say. Bring us high-speed rail, baby. We need high-speed rail.
We're going to try and do that. That's exactly what we're going to try and do.
That's good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Hopefully you've enjoyed this great in-depth episode of Transit Unplugged, the podcast at the American Public Transportation Association Rail Conference here in Baltimore, Maryland, my hometown, where I served as CEO a decade ago and helped work on big train projects from the MARC commuter train to light rail to the subway system here, as well as the bus. It's been great catching up with old friends, and today we've showcased a bunch of top leaders talking about rail in America, from Paul Keolis, the CEO of APTA, the American Public Transportation Association, to Ray Biggs with the Purple Line, the biggest new light rail project happening right now in America, 90% complete. Josh Wolf, who I used to work with here at the MTA, who's now head of the MARC Train service, talked about that. Plus, we took a look at Honolulu, their only American driverless metro system, how they've expanded now an extra 5 miles or at 15 miles of service. I talked to Mike Whitaker today, who now is in charge of operations there, operations and maintenance, who worked with us here in Baltimore MTA as my director of training when I was here. The message I've taken away from this is that rail is still very significant in America. With 5% increase in tracks, over track mileage in the last available year, while everyone is talking about bus rapid transit, rail continues to show its importance, as we talked about with the gentleman from Keolis, who showed that, the rail's role in public transportation really can't be beat when it comes to TOD and comes to dropping people off right in the middle of town, with intercity rail when it comes to high-speed rail. This has been a great showcase of public transportation rail in America. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and let us know how you like our new video podcast series, where we're not just showing you the audio, or you're not just listening to the audio, but you can see it for yourself, because together we make transit stronger.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transit Unplugged, the world's #1 transit executive podcast. I'm Julie Gates, executive producer of the podcast. Many thanks to the team that makes this show happen. Host and producer Paul Comfort, producer Chris O'Keefe, editor Patrick Emile, associate producer Cindy Raskin. Transit Unplugged is being brought to you by Midaxo, passionate about moving the world's people. If you would enjoy behind-the-scenes insights and updates from the show, sign up for our weekly newsletter, which has links to can't-miss conversations with the biggest names in mobility. Head to transitunplugged.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Transit Unplugged.